We never know the love of a parent till we become parents ourselves.
Welcome to Mama's Playground. This is Darlene.
And this is Monica.
I love that quote.
I love it too. That's why I was like, let's read it. I was like, I love it. It really resonates.
Yeah.
You know, it really resonates. It's really something that I feel that you definitely do not understand till you are there.
It is so true.
And people can tell you everything, the day you become a parent, but you really don't understand it.
Yeah,
you know?
It's true. I remember hearing that so many times, and not only that, but seeing situations where I was like, oh my God, look what they're doing. Look what she's doing. Why is she doing that? Oh, really? And then it's, okay, now I find myself doing the same things for my daughter.
Oh, so you were being judgy.
Probably.
You were being judgy, like, oh my God, why is she doing that with her daughter or her son? God.
Yeah.
But now you do the same things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, it's being a parent is just this unconditional love. Like, that's the best way that I could put it. It's so pure. It's so, it's just authentic. Never ending. It's authentic.
It is, you would go,
transparent.
It's the mama bear. I say, I remember before becoming a mom, a friend of mine that became obviously a mom before me, she was like, the mama bear comes out of me. And I was like, okay, the mama bear. It really didn't resonate with me. And now I get it. Like, when my kids are sick, when something happens that I don't like, maybe with another kid or so on, that mama bear comes out, and it's like you want to defend them at all costs. You want them to be happy at all costs. You want them to be healthy, number one. Like, you worry when they're sick, when something's wrong with them. It's like this thing, and it's like you love them so freaking much that it hurts when something's wrong with them. It hurts you.
Yeah. When somebody treats them bad. And I know, okay, so we're going to be talking about this in this episode. We're going to be talking about that love that we as parents have for our kids. That we're going to dedicate this episode to our children, especially now that we're in the holidays. And it is about our children. It's about that happiness of seeing them open the gifts, of seeing them when we go take them to get a picture with Santa, of seeing them see the lights when we're on the road. And it's just those moments that brings so much happiness to me now, which in my 20s, I wasn't even there.
At all. You don't even think about it. I recall when I was younger, like in my 20s, okay, I was married previously, right? And my ex-husband, he had his daughter. And I was a little girl. I was 24, 23. When I met him, I was 19, 20, 19, 20, 21. And his daughter was about 6 years old. And I loved her, I did. I loved her. And I was like, this is his daughter, so on. And my mom used to tell me all the time, like, you will never know what it really means to be a parent till you have one that's really yours. Like, you can love her all and you'll do everything for her, and so on. But obviously I was a little girl, and she wasn't mine, and not that I'm gonna, take away from what that was, but when I had my own kids, everything came to light, like that fear, the anxiety of what's gonna be or what's gonna happen, or again, if they're sick, if they're happy, did somebody hurt their feelings?
It's a constant worry. They're an extension of you. And again, we're not going to take away from those situations where you're parenting a child that
you didn't birth or whatever, because you can. But I guess in my particular situation, I was very young. You know what I mean? I was very young. So, there was the complaints. Obviously, I'm not married to that person anymore. So my mom used to tell me, look, the day that you have your own kids, because I had a point that I was like, I don't want any kids. Like, I'm fine with my
you
dogs.
You said that before, and it's crazy because you're such a great mom, and you're
and it's funny. I had a friend that goes, I never would have pictured you as a mom, and you're such a great mom. And I'm like, and my aunt made a comment to my mom one day. She's like, you know what? I never thought Monica was a kid person. And my mom was like, what? Monica's always been a kid. I've always been a kid person. I do. Not all the kids would be attracted to me. They wanted to come play with me. I wanted to be with them. I was like the cool friend, aunt, you know what I mean? And then when I had my own kids, my aunt was like, oh, I didn't think Monica was going to be so how she is with her kids. And, let me tell you, I adore my kids. Like, I adore them as much as they drive me crazy, this and that. Like, that unconditional love, that feeling that you get when you're watching them sleep at night and you're just looking at them saying, wow, they're mine.
Oh my God. And this is this feeling, right? Also that I don't know how to explain it, because it happens to me so many times, honestly, on a daily basis. Either I'm watching her sleep or she's in this stage where they're like talking and they're like, and they have so many things they want to express. But in Luna's case, she goes like, Mom, and this happened. And then all the words are all over the place. And I'm just looking at her, and it's just this feeling inside, like you want to cry, because it's such a beautiful feeling, such a beautiful, I don't know, like this thing of like, oh my God, this is my daughter, and I love her, and I just want the best for her. And at the same time, I've cried at times because I love her so much that I'm like, I cry because, and this is wrong, like I'm thinking, oh my God, the day that I'm not around, like we're so close.
Yeah.
We're like mother-daughter, girl.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've caught myself like crying, just thinking, which I shouldn't be doing this, but thinking about the future of the day that I'm not there for her.
Everybody does that.
And it's because I just want her to be happy, and I want to be able, I don't know, and this is honestly one of the reasons why I know I'm 46 and I really want to have another kid, because one of the things I want to give her, a brother, a sibling, a sister, somebody that will always be there for her when we're not around. That it's not, her husband or whatever. It's, it's your brother, it's your sister. And also because I love being a mom, and I would love to go through that again.
Yeah, and have the two together. But even if, let's say, it wasn't to happen, you know what? Life, I believe, takes its course, and she will have obviously the people, her cousins, this and that would love her. You know what I mean? And are gonna be there for her regardless of the fact. So, I see it too. It's like, I don't know. You compare, right? Because love. They say, okay, love is love, right? You have your spouse, you love your partner, right? You love your parents. But with your child, it's so different, right? Like, you don't choose your child. When you have a kid, it's like the kid that you get, you don't know how they're going to be or how she's going to be, what you're getting. When you have a partner, you choose your partner, right? And you're interested in that partner because of, you have things in common, or they're successful, they're attractive, you're attracted to them. With your kid, it's like, it is what it is. It's unconditional love. You're not looking at their looks. You're not looking to see, how good they are in something. Like, you love them unconditionally. And all you want is the best for them. And it hurts sometimes, because it
hurts, right?
But it's a weird kind of hurt. It's like a love hurt, like, I don't know.
Just hurt, you're hurting of the possibility of them suffering, of something happening.
Yeah.
That, and especially the times that we live in, I don't want to get all, sad dark here, but it is reality with the whole situation in the schools and the crime rates and the bullying, and you want to be able to protect them from everything
at all costs.
But also, we also have to kind of let go. This is, for example, I can pick Luna anytime, before 6, and you see me at 4:10. I'm already like, Fabian, are you gonna go? Are you gonna go pick her up? Because I'll be working, and I'm like, please go pick her up. And he said, wait, it's still 4:10. You're working. I'm working. And I'm like, no. And then we go pick her up, and she's like, why are you here? Let me stay here longer. You came too early. And I'm like, I know. But it's just this thing, this anxiety of okay, it's been 6 hours. I need to see my baby.
Let me tell you what happened to me. The reason why I was telling Darlene, let's talk about this topic, because it's something really, when I look back on my single life, or, before kids and all that, how different. there's a lot more stress. Definitely, you're worrying about, let's say, this child, or in my case, my two boys or whatever. Things that can happen or things that do happen, and the reason why I brought this up to talk about it is because not that long ago, Jacob had like a little episode where he had eaten something like some food, and this has happened to him on several occasions, like on at least like five or six times. And he had eaten, and it was like 7:30. He had eaten dinner, and we get home and he goes to sleep. And like literally 4 hours later, he, wakes me up saying that his stomach is hurting really, really bad. And he had to go to the bathroom. He starts getting into hives. His hands start itching. His feet start itching. And like, this was like maybe the fifth time that this has happened within a year. And I thought it was so weird that it had happened like 4 hours after him eating, right? Mm-hmm. So it stayed in my head and I could not sleep for the life of me. Like finally it passed. I gave him Benadryl. Thankfully it didn't like escalate to anything else. But all I could do, my anxiety was on another level. All I would do is like watch him. I couldn't go to sleep. Benjamin was like, go to sleep already. He's fine. Yeah. Like we'll figure it out in the morning. We got to call the doctor to see if we do some tests, whatever, and see what's going on. And all I did was the worst thing ever was research online to see what it possibly was. I couldn't sleep. And I was so worried. I was like, oh my God, if something happens to him, like I can't, like, oh my God, I need to call the school and make sure that this doesn't happen at school. And like, it was just this thing, like wanting to protect them at all costs, praying like every second, like God, like I know it probably sounds exaggerative, maybe to someone, maybe it is part anxiety, you know what I mean? But it's just that worry of anything ever happening to them,
Oh my God,
and wanting them to always be good. Like, in the car when we go to school, I pray with both of them. We have about a 20-minute drive, and it's always like, dear God, let's pray, boys. So they put their hands together, and I'm driving and I'm watching them through the rearview mirror, and I'm like, okay, we're going to pray for a really good day today at school. We're going to pray for a lot of health, that we're always together till mommy's 100 and you guys are, I don't know at what age they'll be at that point, 70 or something like that, or no, like 60 something. And I'm like, always praying that God gives us like a lot of, life together. Time together, and to appreciate them and to see them grow and to see what's going to happen in the future, and that unconditional love of a parent,
but at the same time, it's like I was having this conversation with Fabian, because we're always like, oh mommy, you're so beautiful, and we're always also putting them up there. Oh, you're so, you're so great and this and that. And he said, we have to be careful with that, because when they start school, like, for example, Luna's like, I'm a princess, and everybody's always saying you're so beautiful and you're so this. And he said, we got to be careful, because when she goes to school, she can't go in with the mentality that I'm a princess.
Yeah, you always want to.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to get them ready, because this is us at home giving them all this prep talk and all that. But when they get to school, what they encounter is completely different. And then you have kids, bullying the other children because of one reason or the other, or because they want to be like them, or it's just so many things. So we have to also be very careful as parents, like not to be like super overprotective and saying like you're the best at always. So, and one of the reasons why I love having her like playing with boys in a boys, well, I don't want to say a boys sport, because there's girls playing baseball. Yeah. But one of the reasons, like, I love also like get down and dirty and play with the guys. And, the other day she was playing with the hat like backwards but then she goes home, she puts her princess dress. But it's, we have to also teach them to adapt to different situations and different personalities. And one thing that is happening to me now, during this stage where they're sponges, they're absorbing everything from everybody. From the other day, she said, puta madre. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh shit, I say that all the time. I gotta be careful. But so that's at home. But at school, they're also, getting all this information and misinformation from all these other kids their age. And she thinks that whatever they say, it's true. And I'm like, who said that? No, honey, that's not true. And I'm also at this stage monitoring her friends. And I think I've told you this before, monitoring, the conversations that she's having with other kids, with other girls. I don't want any girl coming and telling her, you're this, and that. She's going to get it in school. I mean, I can't, I can't control that. But as a parent, if they're at home or if we're at a party and I hear conversations that I don't like, I'm the one going to the other person like, don't talk to her like that.
Yeah, you wanna protect her at all costs.
And that's another thing. As parents, we try to also protect them from other kids.
It's funny. I literally was having this conversation with my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law. We were just talking about kids in general, all the different personalities, and obviously
with Danny.
No, on Benjamin's side, and
Okay.
and we were just talking about kids, different personalities. Like my kids, like one is like more shy, the other one's a little bit more outgoing. But then some people have kids that are very like super outgoing and bossy, and you know what I mean. And they can be a little too much for certain people. And it's like it's funny because everybody has an opinion about everybody's kids, right? And it's like as a mama bear, like sometimes. As a mama bear, you want to protect when anybody says something, and I'm sure as a dad as well, but I say mama bear because I think that's like more of like a term, let's say.
Yeah.
Papa bear, mama bear. But that you want to, somebody says something about your kid, like, I don't know, oh my God, like your child is like way too overbearing or this and that. And you as a mom or as a dad want to like get up and be like, oh, who are you talking about my kid? But it's funny. I feel like, to a certain point, we have to be able to take criticism about what other people say about our kids. Obviously, as long as it's not demeaning or bad or, putting your kid down or whatever. If somebody says something about your kid, like, yes, protect it, but don't be like that. I don't know what I'm trying to like.
It depends who it comes from.
Correct. And how it's said.
For example, let me tell you, our moms, if like my mom would be like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't that, and my instinct is like, don't tell me what to do, she's my daughter, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh shit, she was right.
Yeah.
She was right. She's also the grandma. She does want the best for my daughter, but it depends from where. Because I had a situation where this actually, where this person. We weren't even friends, and we were at a party, and actually her daughter, I don't let Luna play with her, and we don't get together. She's not really my friend, and I just avoid her, because her daughter was very mean to Luna, and I'm like, this is the one that's gonna spoil Luna's life, so dramatic, saying like, spoiler, cover your kids' ears. Saying like Santa doesn't exist, the Easter Bunny doesn't exist, like it, and she would do it like on purpose.
Yeah,
like knowing.
She's older,
and she's a little bit older, but she's a mean. There are kids that are mean. Sorry, there are mean kids out there.
But wait a second, you're saying that, and that's exactly what I was talking about with them. It's funny because as a parent, you want to defend them, right? Like, let's say that little girl is mean to your daughter or whatever. You're like, I'm going to pull her away from this situation. But believe it or not, kids, like sometimes you have to let them, and I know it's harder said than done, right? Or you have to let them battle it out. Like you can't interfere all the time, right?
No, I agree.
Because you know what the funny part is that usually the parent is the one that stays with it in the back of their mind. Like you have it still in the back of your mind, that little girl.
No, because I was going to tell you a story about her
But
mom.
Luna probably forgot about it.
Yeah,
she doesn't.
No, of course. Oh, no, of course.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, of course. What I was going to tell you actually, and I was having this other conversation with a baseball mom, and she's like, no, if I told my kid, if somebody pushes, you push back. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we're not going to be like, no.
I've said that too before.
Yeah, you have to, she has to learn how to defend herself, okay?
Correct.
I'm not trying to raise here like a princess, no. Like, you have to be tough.
You don't be the one that starts
yourself,
but defend yourself. Huh?
And I've seen her do so. She just tackled another boy in a game the other day, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm going to post it. I already posted it on my personal page.
Parents sometimes are the ones that are that this is what we were talking about, which is funny. The parents are the ones that are so overprotective, let's say, or they want to protect their kid at every single cost. And you get bothered with, let's say, what another parent does or what the other kid did to your kid and vice versa. Yet the kids, sometimes they do it and then 5 seconds later they're back playing again. And the ones that get like bothered with the whole situation are the parents, and they stay with this thing dwelling in their head. And it's like, sometimes you just, as much as you love your kid, you don't want to see them hurt. You want to see them not suffer. You want to see them fine. Like you cannot, do those battles or like play, have those battles for them or battle it out for them.
It's an instinct.
Of course. And that's the parent, like the mama bear,
It's that protective instinct. You want to protect them from,
everything.
falling, from getting burned, from getting hurt. And it's something that never ends.
It's unconditional. Love.
It never ends. I have when we went to Europe, my dad was going crazy because it's like everything that's happening right now in the world. And we're in Europe in the middle of all of this. This was now in October. And my dad was so nervous. And I had to keep telling him, like, everything's good here. We're going to these touristy places, but there's no bomb threats. There's nothing going on. And I feel it.
Yeah.
I'm an older adult. I feel that like they're super protective and that's not gonna end. And I can't criticize that and I can't get mad because when Luna is older, I'm probably gonna be the same. And let's not get started when she starts dating. That scares me because honestly, like in the past, I was hurt. And I wouldn't want her to get hurt, but it's gonna happen probably. Who knows? I can't control that.
For sure, it's gonna happen, and vice versa. And
that's gonna make them grow.
But that's the thing. Like we want to protect our kids. Obviously, health is like number one for me. It's always like I want them to be healthy. Like that for me, health before anything, right?
Yeah.
And for all my family members, friends, and all. But my kids, I look at them and I always pray, please just give them health. That's all I care about. Everything else that comes from there, we will figure it out, right? Mm-hmm. And as they grow and you start seeing their personalities and how different, like in my case, my kids are and all that, I start thinking, what's their life going to be like? How can I, oh my God, I hope that this is not the case, or I hope this and that, or like, I wish this. And it's like, your kids are going to be who they are regardless. That love coming back to like the love of a parent towards a child. It's not like when you're in love, like let's say with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a spouse or whatever. It you know how sometimes it's like you see people dating and all of a sudden you're like, you guys were together for like 3 years. How come you're not together anymore? You know what? I couldn't take it anymore. Yeah. He changed his job. He doesn't have a good career anymore. Like you with your child, it doesn't matter if your child ends up being whatever. I mean, I don't want to put like some psychopath. You're going to love your child. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unconditionally. It's going to hurt you. Everything that maybe goes against them, or that affects them in any way. And that's the thing. It's like, I used to say my dogs because I was always an animal person. Oh my God, my dogs. Like, no, I've got my dogs. I have my dogs and I know what it is to love my dogs. And I remember one lady saying to me, your dogs, wait till the day you have kids. And I was like, oh, please. No, I love my animals. I do love my animals. But I have a dog now, and let me tell you something.
He's driving you crazy. She texts me
He's
the other
driving
day,
me crazy.
And she's like, he's driving me crazy. I can take it. And I know you were talking about your dog.
And the thing is, I've always been, this dog is a particular case. And even then, I want to, I would not get rid of him. But it's like my kids come first. Like my kids are number one in everything, in all my thought process, in what we're going to do, in my prayers at night, it's like it's something so beautiful, but also like you said, like it hurts. It's like a beautiful kind of like
you want to like just keep them like next to you. Oh my God. And
forever.
Luna's in this beautiful stage. Like she'll just come and she'll just put her face here and she'll hug me and mommy, I love you, and mother, daughter. And we have a song which is from the Temptations, which is My Girl. And we have that, and it's just so beautiful. And it's like this feeling, like I sacrifice anything. Like I'll do anything for her, even waking up really early in the morning on Sundays. No, this happened. True story. I had a really long week 2 weeks ago. I was training for this new job, and it was just, I had so much going on, and I'm just trying to figure out like going back to working full time, thank God, from home, and trying to figure out the schedule. And then we had like baseball, and then the Christmas event started happening, and I'm just trying to, and you have to get the gift to take it to this place, because from this place you're going to give it to the fake Santa so he can bring it to them. And I was just like, a lot of things were cramping up. And then we had like really early in the morning, like baseball on Saturday. And I was just, oh my God, Sunday is almost here. This is the first day that I get like to sleep in.
Yeah.
And I was so like, oh my God, Sunday. I kept like Sunday. Saturday comes. And in the baseball chat, they're like, hey guys, how about if we like add in like like
something, a little event,
like a practice on Sunday before the playoffs start on Monday, and okay, let's do it at 10, let's do it at 12, let's do it at 11, okay, and it's up being at 9 in the morning. Again, I've been waiting the whole week. I'm thinking about Sunday. 9 a.m. in the morning, and I remember like being like exhausted and being like, you know what? I'm in, confirmed. Again, it wasn't, I didn't have to go. She didn't have to go. It wasn't part of the schedule or anything. But it's like, you know what? Let's make it happen. Plus, I believe like once you're in a sport or in anything and you're committed to it, like you have to go 100%. You have to be there. You want it or you don't want to go. You feel like going. You don't want to feel like going. No, you're committed. You sign it. You're going to go. But then, so yeah, and I remember waking up because you had mentioned we were going to do a show on unconditional love, and I'm 7:30 in the morning on that Sunday, and I kept thinking about like, this is unconditional love, this is unconditional love, this is unconditional love, and I'm like, shit. And then I get to the park and everybody was feeling the same way. Man, the things we do for our kids, man, this is my Sunday, and it's like that. But at the same time, you have parents that they don't.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah. I have a friend that she had this. The kid now he's like 16, but at that time he was like 6, and she never put him in any sports, in any activities, in nothing. And I remember his birthdays. It was just his like us.
Yeah.
You know, the adults, and I'm like, come on, like he doesn't have any friends. No, he doesn't have any friends. And I'm like, and they gave him like a ball and a bat. He didn't know what to do with it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, or you do something with the ball. And I said, why don't you put him in sports? No, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to be taking him. And a lot of parents, yeah, do that. And I mean, I don't want to like say anything negative, but it's just different. I don't know.
I mean, again, it depends how you were raised, I think, and what you're used to, and how you know what I mean? Because everybody's different, and that's what I'm saying. Like we all tend to kind of like judge that, like when we see another kid and another mom doing something that maybe you wouldn't do, or you maybe would act differently, or let's say your daughter's throwing a temper tantrum over something, you know, that kids throw a temper tantrum over something stupid or whatever, and people are like judging your parenting or your kid or whatever, and you become overprotective. Like you don't want anybody to say anything bad about your kid, you know? And you, again, it just goes down to you want to put, and I don't want to say everybody, you know, I'm sure there's parents that want to let them figure it out and they're more, you know, not so hands-on because they have a different way of parenting. Yeah. But I say that when you have a child, it's like you do want to put them in this like glass container where you don't see them ever have any emotion that is besides a smile. You know what I mean? Like you want them to be happy all day long, you know, and it's crazy because, again, I didn't think I was going to be a mom. And I was like, you know what? I can do without it. And now I can't see my life without my kids, you know? Oh, my God, no. So, you know, it's like, you know, if you've ever said to yourself, I don't want a child, maybe you don't. That's fine. Yeah, you know, that is perfectly fine.
It's not for everybody.
But I used to say that. And then I finally, you know, things happened and I've got 2 kids now. And it's like, I take back all the times that I said I didn't want, you know what I mean? Like that I could have been without, because it is a beautiful, messy type of love. Like it's beautiful. It's messy.
It's a beautiful mess. My props to all those moms that are listening that wanted to have one and couldn't, that wanted to have one more and couldn't, or are trying. And because it's motherhood, fatherhood, it's a beautiful thing.
If you cannot have kids, or you do have kids and you want to adopt or whatever, I think that love can exist. Like I think you can go, you know, tooth and nail for that child, even though you didn't physically give birth to them or they're not your kid. You know what I mean?
Yes. How old were you when you became a parent?
I had my first child at 36. And then my second one at 39.
Okay.
So you see, it's just a matter of like, you know, it depends on timing and all that.
Do you know that and I've been having this conversation with my mom, something that's happening now is that women are starting to have children at a younger age. because it used to be like that, thinking about our grandmothers and all that, and with the whole joke of, they have so many. If you think about it, our grandparents probably had a bunch of kids, or great grandparents, and that then changed. And for our era, I feel that there was a time when we started having children later, like career became more important.
Yeah. I still think that is kind of
I think it's changing, because at least I'm seeing it through, the people that I know. My niece, Kenya, she had baby Cash at 21. She is an excellent mom. And I had no doubt about it when I found out she was pregnant. I'm like, yeah, age is nothing. You can be 35 and be a lousy mom, and you can be in your 20s, early 20s, and be an amazing mom. She's great. So I'm so proud of her. But now some of her friends are starting to have kids, and I keep hearing, oh, and my friend's pregnant. My friend has 3 kids already, and they're like 25. And I go, wow. And I said, I see this. And I was telling my mom, I said, me, or I see like younger women having kids now. And she said, yeah. And
I think now it's like
happening.
I think now you're seeing more. I mean, this is off topic, but you're seeing more of a generation that is, they're learning how to fend for themselves and make money without the stress of work that maybe we had to get into, like the 10-hour days or the 12-hour days in an office somewhere, trying to battle it out and make something of yourself. I think now you're seeing more people finding a way to make money remote and all that. So they're having more time now to think of, you know what, I'm okay. And I can, because obviously money factors into, not always, unless, sometimes you're not prepared for it, but it's, having a child is another added like expense, and so maybe now you're seeing more of a generation that is more in tune with spending that quality time, with making something of themselves, but not being at that 9 to 5 that takes you away from your family, so maybe that is, and maybe we're going to see more Kylie Jenners out there. Kylie Jenner.
She has how many?
She has 2.
And how old is she?
She's 22, 23.
Oh, you see,
she's super young.
They're so like huge and influencers that maybe it's because of
maybe it's because but maybe she's but again, we're talking about a woman that doesn't need to do anything, like, what I mean. She's got so, but she looks to be like a good mom, you know what I mean? Like, she's young, she's taking care of her kids, she's got the time to do it. So I think it factors in like time and being there. And I think in our epoca, let's put it that way, it was more like, where are you? What are we going to do? No, we got to focus on our career. I want to do this. So then those things get left to the back burner.
But now it's easier to have a career from like where you can also have children. And then you see a lot of men now that are the ones taking care of the kids. I drop off Luna at school. Actually, Fabian has been dropping her at school since I started working. And you see a lot of dads doing it. And it's times change, but I like it. I see these younger women having children. Again, it's not for every young children, like women. You have to be,
mentally ready,
and mature, and knowing that from the moment you have a kid, you can't put yourself first anymore. I mean, you're gonna have somebody depending on you, for a long time, and so you have to take care of that kid. But I don't know. I love that, because also as if you want to have more children, the younger you start, the better. Because in my case, I had Luna at 41, and a lot of people don't know my story. I'll talk about it one day. But now it's been harder. It's been harder to be able to have the second one. And then I think, I should have started earlier. But then again, I'm not going to go with the should have. I don't. Yeah.
You said times change, but one thing, that, ending it here, because we could keep on going on this topic forever. One thing that doesn't change is that it's that unconditional love, that thing. Like, my mom would always tell me, because I would always say, Mom, like, I'm 42 or I'm 40 or I'm 36. Like, come on. You don't have to worry about me. You can leave me alone. It doesn't matter if I'm out at night, going to a bar or something. I'm an adult. And she's like, don't you understand? Like, you and your sister, well, I'm the baby. She's like, you will always be my baby. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are. Like, I will always worry. I will always want your happiness, your well-being. And I think that is the truth for the most parents, right? Yeah. Like, that child becomes your end all be all in the sense of you want them always happy and healthy and loved, and you want to see them successful, and you're always praying for their for them to be good no matter what age they are. You could be 80 on your freaking deathbed and your child is a 50, 55, and you're like, before I leave this earth, I just want them to be happy. Let the rest of their, you know what I mean? You're always thinking about them.
Yeah. And you know how, now that we're parents, we say, oh, now we understand what our parents would think, why my mom did the things that she did. Oh my God, now I know, and she's right. And I feel that now we should also, for example, you were talking to your mom earlier, and we talk about how they're still like, did you do this? Did you do that? And we're like, Mom, I'm not a kid anymore. And it happens. But instead of coming out kind of like defensive or Mom, come on, I'm an adult.
I do that all the time.
We have to think, because this is gonna come back later in life and bite us. We have to think that in the future is gonna happen. So we have to understand where our moms are at. What they're saying, what they're feeling, because that's going to be us in the future when Noah and Jacob and Luna, they're like in their 30s and 40s, and God give me health to be there when Luna is an adult. That I'm like, Luna, did you do this? Mom, come on, I'm an adult. I'm going to be like,
it's going to happen.
No, I know.
Everything is going to come around to bite us in the butt. Yeah. That is for sure. Everything you do now, and it's the thing is like, it's never going to be perfect. Like, whatever we do now, as much as you think that you did everything to the best of your kids' being or whatever, so on, there's always something that's going to backfire.
Yeah.
There's always something that they're going to come back on, because my parents, at least I'm very fortunate to say that my parents were always very, very good parents, and they've always been there, and we've always had, we've never missed anything in our lives, especially that unconditional love that continues ticking. And yet there's always things that I could say, it's because of you, this, and this, you know what I mean? So I'm sure, if God gives me a lot of health to be there for my kids when they get older, I'm going to hear a lot of you did this, and that's why I'm like this. But I promise you, Jacob and Noah, that everything was done with unconditional love, okay, and for your well-being.
I know. Feel that's we do it with love, and we're gonna keep doing it. Yeah, doesn't matter. We're gonna keep doing it, and again, like, it's good. Be protective of your children, not overprotective, and it's something that I have to work on because we also have to let them
be. We have to let them take their own path and let them fail.
Take notes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's coming, So, I mean, in that note, we wrap up this episode with unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Be there for your kids, and we love you, Luna.
Yes, and Jacob and Noah, we do. We love you, and I'm sure you parents out there listening, I'm sure you could say the same thing to your kids. It's just, that feeling. I know if you're listening and you have children, you know what we're talking about. So.
And what I always like to say, be there for them. Turn that phone off. Put that phone away.
Yeah.
Put it away and
appreciate
be with your
the
kids.
Moments.
Yes, be with them. Yeah. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.